Parshas Metzora. This is a sikha from the Lubavitcher Rebbe about Parshat HaMetzora. Metzora is a really weird law in the Torah that really doesn't apply at all nowadays in its simple way. Spiritually, it does. Spiritually, everything in the Torah applies. Just take the simple example, the Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple. There is no Holy Temple. It will be built by the Mashiach, but presently there's no Holy Temple. Nevertheless, there's nothing more important and practical to every single Jew than the Holy Temple, and how to make himself into a Holy Temple. So here's another example of Metzora. In the time of the Holy Temple, there used to be laws which were called laws of Tzorat and Metzora. It used to be some sort of a spiritual disease, but it would appear on a person's skin. Skin would become discolored. And also the same thing would be also on houses and in clothes. It also have Tzorat. So these things don't exist anymore, these songs, but there's certainly the spiritual aspect of it. It certainly exists now, and in some ways it could be even more important now than it ever was before. Let's see how. Metzora, Shem Shlilu. The name Metzora is a negative word. Metzora means a bad thing. Metzora, a person had this terrible disease. He had to be separated from the whole crowd, and it was called Tameh. Parshasenu Nikras is called in the name of the Rasag, Rav Sadia Gaon and Rashi, and in the Rambam, it's called Metzora. Zos, right? It's called Metzora. By us, it's called Metzora, but by them, it was called Zos Tihiyah. The first two words, Zos Tihiyah. Ach, but Bedorat Achronim, in the latter generations, Minhag Yisrael, the custom of the Jewish people, and the custom of the Jewish people is Torah, is to call it by the name Metzora, which usually you try to sort of avoid not nice names. But in the later generations, this is called Metzora. Yesh Lav, we have to understand, Metzora is in Bilti Ratzui. The word Metzora is a bad thing. They translate it loosely in English, leprosy, which is not really a very accurate translation, because leprosy is a disease which is caused by germs or bacteria or viruses or something. It's a natural thing. It has nothing to do with the person. It's just a disease like any other disease. But in the Torah, it was totally dependent on the person. A person that would speak what they call Lashon Hora, would say bad things about people, or he would say things that can bring damage to people, as he could be affected by this Metzora. So Metzora is a bad thing. And that it has in common with leprosy. It's a bad thing. L'chora, at first glance, ein matim likro parsha. It's not proper to call the name of the parsha in a bad name. Miuchad, especially kasher achen. Nikras kodem lechein, especially because beforehand it was called another name. But Dorat Achronim, in the later generations, and they changed the name to something that's not good. If you have a parsha like Balak, so that was always called Balak. But this parsha was not called in the days of Rav Sadia Gaon. Rashi was like 800 years ago. The Rambam around the same time. Sadia Gaon was before. It was called Zot Tihiyah, the first two words. Zot Tihiyah, Torah Metzora. Zot Tihiyah, that's the name of it.
What's the difference between Metzora and SARS?
Same thing.
The same thing.
Yeah. Tzorat is the name of the disease, and the Metzora is the person who has the disease. V'huval Kohen was brought to a Kohen Kadei in order to understand this. We have to first of all explain what it means. Zos Tiyeh Torah Metzora. V'huval Kohen. It says this will be the law of the leper. We'll call it leper. The Metzora, and he should be brought to the Kohen. You have to bring him to the priest. Now, it's a very weird law, because if a person has all the signs of a Metzora, all the signs of this leprosy, he's not impure.
It's completely covered with it.
No. He has all the signs of the impurity that it is, and if a Kohen comes and checks him out, he says, you're impure. But until that Kohen comes, he's not impure. And the things that he touches are not impure. He's not impure. And the same thing, as soon as these signs go away, or there appears clean signs, then he's not pure yet. The Kohen has to come and say, you're pure. And even if the Kohen is an ignoramus, right, is ignoramus, and you have all the wise men and the great doctors and the great tzaddikim, but they're not Kohen. They can't make them impure, and they can't make them impure. They can't make them pure. All right, let's see. La'achar mikayin, afterwards it says, it's not afterwards it says, V'yetze al-Kohen al mechutz lamachaneh. It says, first of all, you have to bring him to the Kohen. And then it says that the Kohen, when you can prop the book up on this, it's easier for two people to read. It says the Kohen goes outside of the camp. The Kohen has to go out to the Masorah. As soon as this person has the signs, he goes outside of the camp, he's not impure yet, then the Kohen has to go there. If so, Maya Kavana behova la Kohen. What does it mean? It says that he should come to the Kohen. It's two sentences opposite. First of all, it says you should bring him to the Kohen. And then afterwards it says, and the Kohen goes outside of the camp. So who brings to who? Who's going to who? The first sentence is that he goes to the Kohen. The second one says the Kohen goes to him. Hari asura yala matzora lavo la Kohen. The Kohen, the matzora can't go to the Kohen because he has to be outside of the three camps. As soon as he sees the signs, he has to go outside of the camps. What does it mean? He sees the signs, the Kohen goes to him, declares him impure. That was in last week's parsha we learned. Now this week's parsha we learn about how to make him pure again. So it says that you bring him to the Kohen, and the Kohen says that he's pure. But that's forbidden. You can't bring him to the Kohen. He has to remain outside of the camps. That's why it says the Kohen goes to him. But the Torah says that you bring him to the Kohen. So what's happening over here? Madua ne'amar v'huva el Kohen. What does it say? And bring him to the Kohen. Why doesn't it say that he should go to the Kohen? Nisuach ha'matzbia al kach shehavo al Kohen hu ba'al korcho. When it says huva al Kohen, it seems to indicate that somebody has to force him to go to the Kohen. So we have two questions. Number one, he doesn't go to the Kohen. The Kohen has to come to him. It says right afterwards that he has to go. Why does it say in the Torah that he has to go? Second question, why does it say that he has to be brought? It doesn't say he has to go. It says he has to be brought to the Kohen. What do you mean brought to the Kohen? What, he doesn't want to go, or he's not able to go? What does it mean? Allah Shaila Rishon, on the first question, some people can say, Uba Milim, that the words V'huva Kohen, the intention is, Shebiyoto Mechutz L'machaneh, that when he is outside of the camp, Yitkarev Amatzua El Gavul Mesuyam El Machaneh. He should come as close as he can to where Jews are living. He should come to the boundary, the nearest boundary he can to where the Kohen is. Kadei, in order limnoa tirchat Kohen, in order to prevent to minimize the efforts of the Kohen. Asher lo yitztarek, so the Kohen should not need to go far. Rab michutz lamachaneh, far from the place where he is. The Kohen shouldn't have to go far and go and look around for the Kohen. So the Kohen goes to some place right on the border. That's what it means. He should be brought to the Kohen. Should bring him right next to the Kohen, where as close as you can. But really, he has to be outside of all the three camps. What are the three camps? When the Jews were in the desert, so there was where the Holy Temple was, and that was only where the Kohanim could go. And then there was the outside. Not the main thing of the Holy Temple, within the curtains, that was where the Levites could go. And then the whole rest, everything else, was for the Israel. So they were always camping in these three boundaries. The Kohanim had their place, Machana Kahuna, then there was Machana Levia, and then all the rest was a place where the Israel would go. The Metzora had to be outside of all three camps. Even when they were in the desert, he had to be outside of the three camps. So it says, one place it says that you have to bring the Kohen you have to bring the Mesorah to the Kohen. Another place it says that the Kohen has to go out to him. So how do you explain the apparent contradiction? This is not a contradiction. The Kohen, the Mesorah, he's brought up to the boundary, as close as he can to the third camp. And so the Kohen doesn't have to look around for him. That's a pretty good answer. Says the Rebbe, Ach pirush zeh ina muvan. It's not such a good answer. When the Metzora has to go outside of all three camps, he doesn't have to go far away. He can live on the boundary. It's true, he does have to go outside of all three camps, but he doesn't have to go far away from the boundary. Since that it says in the Torah, you have to bring him to the boundary. As Amr Lagabi Kol Metzora, this is talking about you have to bring every Metzora to the boundary. Well, you don't have to bring every Metzora. What if he happens to live near the boundary? You don't have to bring him. But lav davka lagabi mishud rachek mikasad machaneh, ela av lagabi mishin imtza samuch machaneh. Even a person that's living right near the boundary, you have to bring him also. So you have to bring everybody. So what is the Rebbe trying to get at? There has to be a spiritual meaning here, because the simple meaning doesn't answer these questions. We'll see. Hari ein matin legabav abitoy v'huva. So therefore, a Kohen, a Metzora that happens to live near the boundary of the third camp, so it's not relevant that you have to bring him to the boundary. It says you have to bring him. You have to bring him. And it doesn't mean just if he's not near, you have to bring him. Every Metzora has to be brought to, according to this explanation, as close as possible to the Kohen. And that doesn't apply because some of them are not far away in the beginning. The explanation is like this. So that's the only one that even expounds an answer, that even produces some sort of an answer to this apparent contradiction. On one end it says that the Kohen must go to the Metzora, and on the other end it says the Metzora has to be brought to the Kohen. So how do you reconcile this contradiction? So we had one answer that he's brought close to the boundary, the Metzora. But the Rebbe says that's not a very good answer. Very good answer. Is there another answer? No. So the Rebbe says, okay, so therefore we have to turn to spiritual. Panimiyat Inyanim. Rashi explains, Shasiba lakach, that the reason that the Metzora has to be, Badad has to be outside of the camp. Mishum, because Shahavdel b'lashon hora, because he spoke bad talk, Bein ish l're'eu, between one person and another. Av im yodea, even if he know, Av hu, Yehei nivdal. So because he went around and he said bad things about people, that because of that, everybody's going to keep away from him. Therefore, the fizeh, yesh lomar, we can say that the siba l'kach, that the reason that the Metzora needs to be outside of all three camps, even outside of Machana Yisrael, is because he has a connection to Klippas Midyan. Klippas Midyan. What is Klippas Midyan? Midyan is Madon Umariba. Okay. According to Judaism, how does the world work? According to Judaism, we have free choice. Man has free choice. But what he has to choose between is not free. And as a person that has a free choice, he decides he wants to try to lift up the Empire State Building on his own. You can't, with your free choice, you're not going to lift it up. It's a stupid choice. You can't choose to jump over the moon. You can't choose if you want, if you were born Jewish, not to be Jewish. If you were born an American Indian, you can't be not an American Indian. That's what you are, right? So, and people that are born with a low IQ, sometimes you can work and make it high, sometimes not, right? A person that's born with a weak constitution, he can't be a football player, he can't do it, right? Even though there are rare exceptions, right? There are exceptions, but everyone agrees there's certain things you have absolutely no choice over. Here we have the same thing. There are ways to react to the world. The ways that a person can react to the world are limited. They're limited, but you can choose between them. A person can react to the world, for instance, somebody makes you angry, somebody cuts you off in the car. There's, let's say, 3 general ways you can react. Either you can get mad, either now or later you can get mad, or you can ignore it, totally just ignore it, just say, that guy's a fool, just ignore it. Or you can say, maybe there's some way I can say a good word to that fellow and try to fix it up. Maybe say, God bless you, have a good day. I know people that did a thing like that. So there's basically 3 ways you can react, right, to things. A person, it's like in computers, you have 0 or 1, right? How many zeros you put, how many ones you put, that's what changes it. But you can choose between what you have. One of the ways a person can react to the world is that he can make trouble. Okay, Herschel? Yeah. A person can make trouble. What does it mean he makes trouble? He sees people getting along, he can't stand it. Can't stand it. I just heard somebody the other day. I said, look, this parsha is exactly the opposite of what modern society is. Right? In modern societies, you have something to say bad about somebody else. Right? Somebody else. 1 second. This is my wife. 1 second. Just give me a second. Hello.